You know, Floyd is Floyd. That's like I say, Tank is Tank, man. But at the end of the day, you know, the man is chasing.
Floyd's situation, you know Floyd is Floyd. That's like I say, Tank is Tank, man. But at the end of the day, you know the man is chasing greatness. So let's catch you up.
And Tank, look at him, man. He's very sharp. He's very sharp, man. You know, he was like, hold up, man. I didn't want to fight here. I wanted to fight in Texas.
Calvin Ford, the mastermind behind Davis's rise from the gritty streets of Baltimore to the shining lights of Las Vegas, has always been more than just a coach. He's a mentor and a father figure.
Another thing I want to touch on is the Floyd situation. You know, Floyd is Floyd.
And when Floyd made headlines with his comments about Davis's loyalty, Ford was quick to respond. "We are dedicated. We are committed," Ford said. His words were more than a defense. They were an affirmation of the unbreakable bond he shares with Davis. Tank knows who has been with him since day one. He knows who has always been there for him, win or lose. This declaration came on the heels of Davis's stunning knockout victory over Frank Martin.
You should be supporting that. I always tell you that. You should be supporting that, you know. It's a rocky road that we seeing what's going on. Just pay attention, man. The story is going to reveal itself.
A victory that not only solidified his place among boxing's elite, but also underscored the unfortunate timing of Mayweather's public feud with him. Mayweather, whose own boxing career has been nothing short of legendary, has transitioned into a role that balances between mentorship and rivalry when it comes to Davis. His recent remarks about Davis's loyalty or perceived lack thereof were something we never expected. It was a controversial stand coming from someone who had been instrumental in shaping Davis's early career. Ford wasn't about to let Mayweather's words go unchallenged. In a strong defense of his protege, he accused Mayweather of forgetting his roots and undermining Davis's achievements.
He the one told Frank that I was running at 7 o'clock in the morning, Friday. He told Frank that. He was giving Frank tips and stuff like that. But I knew for sure that wasn't going to be enough to beat.
"We all have a past," Ford said cryptically. "It's easy for Mayweather to throw stones from his glass mansion now that he's retired on top, but let's not forget where he came from. The same hard streets that Tank did." Ford's commitment to Davis goes beyond the ring. He's been there through the highs and lows, the victories and the setbacks. This relationship is built on mutual respect and a shared journey from humble beginnings to the pinnacle of the sport. However, in an unexpected turn of events, Floyd Mayweather Jr. took to social media live to address the recent comments made by Calvin Ford. The live session was quite interesting, showcasing Mayweather in rare form as he unloaded a barrage of verbal jabs at both Ford and Davis. Mayweather, known for his undefeated record and sharp tongue, didn't hold back as he criticized Ford for his defense of Davis's loyalty. "Calvin needs to stay in his lane," Mayweather began.
So you never had to tell him to do things more than once. You told him one time, or
No, he put the effort in. He was just different from most kids.
He's out here talking about loyalty when he doesn't even understand the meaning of the word. Mayweather's tirade continued as he accused Ford of riding on Davis's coattails, claiming that without Davis, Ford would be just another unknown coach. "Let's get one thing straight," Mayweather continued. "Tank is where he is because of me. I took him under my wing when no one else would. But again, that's how you burn bridges." Somebody said this: "Say the true colors of a person are coming out." Man, the session saw Mayweather in no-holds-barred mode.
Like y'all heard my interview. I want Frank to do what he's supposed to do. Get what I'm saying? And because I know it's going to make my guy do what he's supposed to do.
He questioned Ford's contribution to Davis's career and suggested that Ford was exploiting Davis for his gain. "Calvin is nothing but a leech," Mayweather declared. "He's been living off Tank's success, and now he wants to talk about dedication and commitment? Please." As for Davis, Mayweather's words were equally harsh. He criticized Davis for what he perceived as a lack of gratitude and respect for the opportunities Mayweather had provided him. "I showed Tank the ropes, I made him a star, and this is how he repays me? By siding with someone who hasn't done half of what I've done for him?" After all this, Davis, in now-deleted tweets,
Fought in that building. That was a great building. He wanted everybody to see his name on the wall just like everybody else.
threw more counter jabs at Floyd, saying, "You've been talking and talking, time to shut up. I promised you I'd knock you out and I still will. You say you had all these good intentions. If you had, you wouldn't be jealous of me. Guy is just jealous of me." For Mayweather, the accusations are a direct challenge to his credibility and dedication as a coach. Ford's defense of Davis was rooted in years of hard work, sacrifice, and a genuine bond that goes beyond professional obligations. Mayweather's dismissal of Ford's contributions undermines the struggles and efforts that have brought Davis to his current status. On the other hand, Mayweather's perspective comes from his own experience and accomplishments in the boxing world, having built an empire based on his undefeated record and business acumen.
Greatness, and that's all we're doing is chasing it. Everybody talk about his legacy. His legacy don't stop until he hang his gloves up and say he's done. That's what legacy.
Mayweather sees himself as the architect of Davis's success. His frustration with Davis's perceived ingratitude is understandable given the investment and belief he placed in the young boxer. What's interesting here is that even before this, some time back, Ford had already predicted that Tank and Davis were going to part ways. Perhaps this is the kind of vision that a good coach needs. Ford had offered his thoughts on the matter, acknowledging Davis's significant achievements under Mayweather's guidance.
Davis?
And I'm gonna tell y'all the stories of this. When Tank signed with Floyd, I remember I stayed down here 3 months again. God bless Twiggy, man. I miss her, man. Twiggy was Floyd's assistant, man. She talked me through.
He believed that Davis would remain with his core team for the foreseeable future. Over recent years, Davis had emerged as a pay-per-view headliner with broad appeal, drawing in audiences beyond the traditional boxing fan base. "It's about good business," Ford said. "The people in our circle bring the business to the table. That's where the decisions are made." Davis and Mayweather were always going to do business together because they're all in the same circle. Ford's reference to the same circle pointed to Al Heyman, the influential manager and creator of Premier Boxing Champions, the outfit under which Davis fought. Heyman, who also managed Mayweather when he was an active fighter, was presumed to handle the most consequential aspects of Davis's career. As long as Davis and Heyman remained aligned, Ford suggested that any quibbles with Mayweather should be viewed as minor rather than fundamental issues. "Al is like a dad to Floyd," Ford said, drawing an analogy.
I think I'm bigger than the F1 series. I don't know. But I appreciate everybody, man.
Now Heyman is doing the same thing for Davis. "I look at that situation. Al is like the dad, and Floyd is like Mayweather's uncle and trainer Roger to Tank. You get it?" Ford emphasized that differences were natural, but the focus should remain on good business. He touched on the successful partnership between Davis and Mayweather. Now, attributing their achievements to a solid business foundation, you're going to see the differences. At the same time, it's about good business at the end of the day. Look at what they've done together. They're the best in boxing. As Davis's star continued to rise, Ford acknowledged that it was only natural for him to become more curious about the business side of the sport. This curiosity, Ford stated, could lead to occasional conflicts with his closest associates.
But again, that's how you burn bridges. Somebody said this is the true colors of a person that's coming out, man.
He drew a parallel with Mayweather's own career, noting that Mayweather had gone through similar experiences as a professional. Davis just wants to be able to have his say and learn how Floyd learned, Ford explained. It's time for him to really understand what he's doing other than just fighting. Ford believed that Davis's desire to understand the business aspects of boxing mirrored Mayweather's journey. He emphasized that Davis, like many young boxers who looked up to Mayweather, wanted to follow in his footsteps. This meant navigating the same transitions and challenges that Mayweather had faced.
He walked and she was like, "I gotta do that."
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like,
he was going at me. He was.
Ford noted that Mayweather often spoke about respecting talent over money, a sentiment that Davis was beginning to appreciate as he matured in his career. If you look at how Floyd did his career, you got to remember those young men grew up looking up to Floyd, so they don't want the same thing. He wants Tank to just go through the same transitions that Floyd went through, nothing different.
Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him. And I'm doing it at a young age. When Floyd was 20.
Floyd said in his interviews that he respected talent, not the money. Follow him on all his social media platforms. Follow my guy, future world champion. Ford's comments touched on the complex dynamics at play in Davis's career at this time. The relationships between Davis, Mayweather, and Heyman were delicate.
I don't like using that word common, but our Lord knows. He knows.
Linked together by business interests, personal bonds, and professional aspirations. Despite the occasional conflicts, Ford remained optimistic about the future, believing that the strong foundation built by these key figures would continue to support Davis's growth and success in the sport. The boxing world watched the evolving relationship between Davis and Mayweather, which was proof of the challenges and triumphs that define professional sports. According to Ford, the tensions and transitions were part of the journey, shaping Davis into a more well-rounded and independent athlete. Ford's insights provided a glimpse into the inner workings of this high-stakes world, where loyalty, ambition, and business intersected. Ford's analogy of Heyman as a father figure and Mayweather as a mentor, similar to an uncle, underscored the familial ties that often underpin professional relationships in boxing.
Floyd is Floyd. That's like I say, Tank is Tank, man. But at the end of the day, you know, the man is chasing greatness, and you should be supported.
This perspective offered a more nuanced understanding of the current situation, suggesting that despite the surface-level conflicts, there was a deep-rooted support system in place for Davis. Ford had always seen potential in Davis, even from a young age. He knew that for Davis to truly reach the pinnacle of the sport, he would need to understand every facet of the game. Not just the physical demands, but the intricate business dealings that could make or break a career. Ford was not surprised by the growing tension between Davis and Mayweather. In fact, he had anticipated it. Tank is growing, Ford said. He's starting to see the bigger picture. When you get to his level, you want more control over your career. It's natural. Floyd went through it too. It's part of becoming a champion, not just in the ring, but in life. Ford explained that these growing pains were a crucial part of Davis's development. The clashes with Mayweather were not personal attacks, but rather a manifestation of Davis's desire to take charge of his destiny. It was a rite of passage, something that every great fighter needed to go through to truly understand what it meant to be at the top. Tank wants to learn, Ford continued. He wants to know why decisions are made, not just what decisions are made. That's important. That's how you become great. Floyd knows this, and I think deep down he respects it, even if it causes some friction. Now, in Ford's perspective, while it's clear that Mayweather had been a mentor, a guide who had shown Davis the ropes and helped him navigate the treacherous waters of professional boxing, it was also clear that as Davis grew, so did his ambition. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd. He wanted to carve out his own path, to make his own decisions, and to understand the business that had made him a star. While we are all surprised by whatever is going on between Floyd and Tank, Ford saw this as a positive development. He believed that Davis's desire to learn and to take control of his career was a sign of maturity. It showed that Davis was not content with just being a fighter. He wanted to be a businessman, a decision maker, and a leader. This, Ford believed, was the mark of a true champion.
We both learning. You know, he's the fighter make the coach who they are, and the coach make the fighter who they are. So we got to go through our growing pain.
Which holds some truth to it. If you analyze the situation deeper, you'll realize that Tank and Mayweather began their beef when Tank decided to leave Mayweather Promotions. Leaving Mayweather Promotions was not a decision made lightly. However, the allure of forging his path and the potential to revolutionize how boxing is consumed globally was too compelling to pass up. "It's time for me to take control of my career," Davis said in a statement. "Amazon believes in my vision, and together we're going to bring boxing to a whole new audience." "See, bro? Yeah, that D talking about, yeah. Oh, that's deal. He don't know about that yet, but that's bigger than his deal." The partnership also includes initiatives aimed at nurturing young talent in boxing. Amazon and Davis plan to establish a series of gyms and training programs designed to discover and develop future champions. This itself makes Ford's prediction really accurate. Davis is transitioning to an adult now, and like he says, it's time he takes control. As for Mayweather Promotions, the departure of their star fighter marks a significant turning point. While they have wished Davis well in his future endeavors, it's clear that his exit leaves a void that will be challenging to fill. With Amazon's backing, Davis is poised to not only continue his reign in the ring, but also redefine what it means to be a champion in the modern era. And now that even Leonard Alerby is leaving Mayweather Promotions while still backing up Davis, it seems like the future is bright for Tank, and not really the same case for Floyd. Now, the bond between Tank Davis and Ford began through Ford's son, Quader Gurley, who worked closely with Davis. When Gurley moved to New Jersey with his mother, he left a heartfelt message for his father. "I need you to stay with Shorty Davis because you'll be a good role model for him," Gurley told Ford. From that point on, Davis remained closely attached to Ford. Davis's childhood was challenging. He had bounced around in foster care and group homes because his mother struggled with addiction, and his father was in prison at the time he wandered into the Upton Boxing Center. He was living with his grandmother. Despite these hardships, Davis found stability and guidance under Ford's mentorship. "Calvin has always been that male figure in my life," Davis said. "I think a lot of kids who were coming up around the time I was coming up needed that father figure. I really wasn't getting that at home." This relationship provided Davis with the support he needed to focus on his boxing career. However, Davis wasn't the most naturally gifted fighter Ford had mentored, but he was the most focused in a community where the streets constantly called. This focus was invaluable. Ford recalled many fighters he had lost to the violence and dangers of the streets. Ramon Manley, his first Silver Gloves national champion, was executed. Ronald Gibbs, a nationally ranked amateur with Olympic dreams, also faced the same fate while defending his sister. Angelo Ward, a promising super featherweight, was shot outside his home. "I feel it sometimes even sitting here talking to you," Ford said.
First round. Hey, did everything good. Everything is done already. Career, baby.
Reflecting on the losses that had deeply impacted him and shaped Davis's outlook on life. These tragedies were not just stories. They were lessons for Davis, who saw these fighters as older brothers. "I was younger than those guys," Davis said. "It was just learning from their mistakes. I know what to do and what not to do. I was traveling when I was 10, so I'd seen bigger things than Baltimore. My mindset was a little different from everyone else's. Everyone else was to remain in the streets. I was so focused on getting out of the hood and the streets. My focus was boxing. That was my escape. I kept that path and stayed close to my coaches." One of the most painful losses for both Ford and Davis.
On all his social media platforms, follow my guy, future world champion.
Was the murder of Gurley. Ford's son Gurley was shot to death in New Jersey in July 2013, just one day after Davis knocked out Rafael Casas to improve to 4-0. "His son trained me, and I had a tight bond with his son," Davis said. "His son was a real deal guy. I think that I got that energy from his son, and then it carried on from the son to the father." As Davis spoke, Ford sat next to him and nodded quietly, sharing the weight of the loss. Now, with an impressive record, Davis credited Ford for saving his life. Ford, in turn, felt that Davis and other kids like him had saved his life. "The kids kept me straight," Ford said. "I can't tell a kid to not do something and do it myself, so I had to keep my head screwed on straight." Ford's message to Davis was grounded in the wisdom he gained over his unusual journey. "Live your life to the fullest," Ford advised. "You only have one life. Be kind while you're doing it." He emphasized the importance of kindness and love over fear and intimidation. "You want people to love you or fear you? I'd rather have people love me than fear me, because if they fear you, they'll do something to you." The relationship between Davis and Ford was not just about boxing, it was about survival, growth, and mutual support. Ford had been a pillar in Davis's tumultuous life, providing the stability and guidance Davis needed to stay focused and out of trouble. In turn, Davis's dedication and success had given Ford purpose and kept him grounded. As Davis's career progressed, the bond between the two men only grew stronger. Ford's mentorship went beyond training sessions and boxing strategies. It encompassed life lessons and emotional support. This unique relationship was a testament to the transformative power of mentorship and the impact it could have on young lives, especially in communities plagued by violence and instability.